Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place.
Welcome back, viewers, to the morning show on Tobago Updates Television. I am Adanna Combie, and of course we are in studio and we continue conversations with our guests. Now, yesterday we spoke with Mr. Dave Elliott as we spoke about the Memorial Day celebrations and the parade which takes place on Sunday. Today we are speaking with Karen Stewart-Duncan, Acting Assistant Superintendent of the TTPS, and we're going to speak about a little bit about the restrictions for the traffic, because of course we are having a parade, which means that some areas will be cordoned off and you will not be able to access. So good morning and welcome to the program.
Good morning. Thank you so very much for having me.
Yes, of course. Thank you for being here this morning. You know, we're talking about Memorial Day celebrations, and of course there's going to be a parade taking place on Sunday, right? So if you tell us a little bit about the parade route and what we can expect, and also a little bit, as well, not a little bit, as much as you can, about the restrictions for the traffic in terms of the driving and the pedestrians, what is expected of us.
Okay, so let me start off by saying that though the parade is on Sunday, we have a dress rehearsal today. So the inconvenience, because I know a lot of people see it as an inconvenience, is going to start from this afternoon, because there's a dress rehearsal starting at 2:30 p.m. So the same restrictions that apply for Sunday would also apply today. Yes, so I can tell you what the route is. Let me start by telling you the route. So the troops will fall in at the fire station that's on Bacalet Street. They would proceed north along Bacalet Street onto Bacalet Connector Road. You know?
I'm following.
Right, okay. Then turn west onto Pigott Street. That's down the hill by Courts there.
Right.
Good. South onto Burnett Street. That's just in front of Royal Bank.
Right.
Yes. East onto Ross Street. That's facing the Assembly Legislature. Right. And they would remain there for the parade time. After that, when the ceremony is finished, the parade will proceed south onto Jerningham Street, which is facing, what's the name of that business? There's a fruit stall.
Yes, by where Fruit King used to be. Right.
So they would be heading south there, then east onto Main Street, south again onto Bacalet Street, and then end at the fire station. So
okay.
So you follow.
I follow the routes, but for those who are a little bit confused, let's do it again. Let's do it again.
So we're starting at the fire station.
Right.
And we're heading south. We're heading north, sorry, towards the traffic lights.
Right. So we're going traffic light direction.
Good.
Right.
When you get to the traffic light, we're going to cross the traffic light. The next turn off on the left. Let me use left and right rather than north and south. Yes, because I know it's easier for people to understand that. So you're going to turn left onto Pigott Street, and that's going down the hill. Traffic normally heads the other opposite direction, right? So down the hill to in the vicinity of Courts. Then we make a left onto that is Ross, is it? No, Burnett. That's Burnett Street. That's right in front of Royal Bank. Then we make a right onto Ross Street. That is that street that I'm not sure what taxi stands are there.
Yeah, but that's the taxi stand where Ted Arthur now has his place there. So that's next to James Park. Is that next to James Park, heading back up to Legislature?
Yes. So once we get to that point, the troops are going to remain in that position. So they're going to form an arch around James Park, yes, and remain there for the entire ceremony. On completion of the ceremony, then we would make a right onto, is it Ross? I think it's Ross's call. Let me just make sure that I'm saying the right thing. Yes, we're going to make a, no, south onto Jerningham. It's Jerningham Street, that one is called.
Yes, because that's by Legislature there.
Yes.
Right.
And then we make a left
on the main
street. We're going up,
heading back to
the fire station. So when we get to the traffic lights, we go back to the fire station. The troops will fall out there. Yes. So that is the route.
So it's a big circle.
Yes. And it's a very short. It's not as long as Independence Day or even Republic Day parade. You know. So it's a very short route. It's a short parade as well. It's not as long as in Trinidad. You know. I'm sure the troops will be happy to hear that.
Right.
Yes.
I mean, because we're having fine weather these days.
Yeah,
you know.
well, yeah, it's either extremely hot or extremely wet. It's just extremes, you know. But we have our troops are mentally prepared for that, so then we shouldn't have much issue where that is concerned.
Okay, and what time? And we said 2:30 this afternoon. How long do you anticipate the dress rehearsal to take?
I wouldn't say more than an hour and a half, if so long.
Okay.
Yeah.
So from like about
so we would want people to we wouldn't say we start at 2:30, but of course the restrictions would apply from about 1 p.m. We'd start to because you'd have to clear the space, make sure there's no parking around James Park and those sort of things. So we'd want to start to apply those restrictions from around 1 p.m. So if you see the officers on the road, all we're asking is just to abide by whatever instructions you're being given in order to make it easy for us to get our job done.
Right. And on Sunday, what time does the parade begin and what time are the restrictions implemented as well on Sunday?
So the restrictions would start from about 10 a.m., but the parade actually starts at 11. The troops would fall in at 10:30. They have to get to the James Park by 11 a.m. because the ceremony of itself starts at 11.
Right.
And on completion by 1 p.m. everything should be cleared. You know, the streets should be back open and so on.
Okay, and you said that they're going to be staying in that location when they form that arch around James Park. They're going to be standing. So I remember Dave said yesterday it's a standing parade.
Yes,
I know you're not here to talk about the actual parade, but could you explain to us what a standing parade is?
Well, unlike Republic and those and Independence, where you have that formal ceremony and then there's a route march, this is not necessarily like that. The only marching is to get to the location, and once they are there, they have to just remain standing for the entire parade. There isn't seats provided for guests except for the veterans and the elderly. So even the spectators, those who are part of the formal ceremony, are standing.
Wow.
Yeah, but it's not a long parade, like I said.
And is there a reason? I mean, I know we're honoring. Is this the reason why we are standing for this parade? What is the purpose behind it and the sentiments behind the standing parade?
That is one thing I do not know, and that is something I would have to find out.
Yeah,
so
because I think it's very interesting. I think it's very interesting, and in my interpretation, I would think that it's to honor our fallen soldiers.
Yes, that is the whole gist of the parade is to honor those who would have given their lives for our freedom, a freedom that we tend to take for granted.
I know we were having that same conversation on set yesterday. You know, there's so many things we enjoy and we think we're entitled to, but we don't know how we got here.
Exactly.
And I was encouraging our viewers also to do the research, to take the time and invest in trying to find out. Even the poem about the puppy, I didn't even know. I was telling Dave yesterday, we speak about the puppy from primary school. I've been wearing my puppy every single year. And I never knew until yesterday on set when we had that conversation about the poem that was written about it. So it's you know, I really support this I really support this honor that we're going to give to our fallen soldiers. And I really want to urge our viewers and listeners out there to, you know, to be accept the instructions that have been given to you by the authorities, because this is something that we really need to do. We really need to show appreciation and gratitude for the things that we have and the things that we enjoy. I think we need to give honor to whom honor is due. And I think if we really understand the importance of gratitude, then we will live a better life, you know.
Of course.
Once you understand where what you have came from, you'll have a greater appreciation for life, and you will treat each other, you'll treat yourself and others in a better way. So please, let's pay attention. Let us be obedient and submissive to the authority that is placed over us. So as the officer said, once you are given the instructions by the officers in terms of restrictions starting from today at about 1 p.m. in the James Park area, please comply as they prepare for the dress rehearsal, because of course we want to have a perfect execution on Sunday. So the dress rehearsal is necessary, and there's no other time to do it than, you know, right now. Why not, you know, to get it done?
So of course, once the traffic, once we have finished with the dress rehearsal, the roadways would reopen, and parking would be, you know, as usual. So all we're just asking you, give us maybe about 3 hours. Yes, I know it's Friday afternoon. It's the height of traffic time. And yes, I know how that is. But, you know,
necessary.
It is part of the process. Yeah. So all we're asking is just to work alongside with us. If do you want me to give you where the parking restrictions are?
Sure.
Right. So parking is prohibited along Jerningham Street, Ross Street. All of this is in the vicinity of the cenotaph. Well,
use the terms. Let us get acquainted with the terms.
With James Park, Pigott Street from the junction of Burnett to Bacalet Connector Road. Bacalet Connector Road from the junction of Pigott Street to the junction of Main and Bacalet. Main Street from the junction of Main and Bacalet to the junction of Main and Burnett. The entire Burnett Street, no parking. Old Market Car Park, Pigott Street, and then there's Bacalet Street from the junction of Main and Bacalet to Hay and Young Streets.
Right. So now that we've called all those street names, can we put landmarks to them so people know exactly where these streets are?
Right. So Jerningham is in the vicinity of the legislature, and that is that street that faces it's normally one way. It normally runs south to north. So that's if you're going south, you would see the Fruit Person.
Right.
Yeah, that's that street.
So that street that connects the Fruit King to Courts.
Right.
That street there.
Yes,
right. Or Brown Betty or wherever that area. So that is.
I forgot that was Brown Betty.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
So then Ross Street. Ross is that street between from Royal Bank to Jerningham. So we know where Jerningham is.
Yes, we know where Jerningham is. So that street.
I forgot the business you said that is there.
Ted Arthur is now on that corner there.
Good.
Where there used to be the three foolish people upstairs. That was the name. You remember we had that term. I can't remember the exact name, but that's what we used to call them as children coming up. Yes. Right.
Pigott Street is the street that Courts is on.
Yes.
Everybody knows Burnett Street, right? The Bacalet Connector Road would be from the traffic lights, but it's that portion that from the traffic lights to Pigott Street.
Yes.
Yeah, that's Bacalet Connector Road.
Right.
Yeah. Of course, Bacalet Street, of course, itself is Bacalet Street of itself is no parking, no traffic access. If you need to pass, you would have to use the outer like come along on the highway and go downtown, right? Persons who want parking on the day or even for the rehearsal to view, they can park at Garden Side.
Okay, Garden Side, and then they walk up.
Yes, because it doesn't end, because the Tambourine Square is going to be used for the, there's going to be a gun salute. Yes. In honor of the celebration. So, that's something people would have to be aware of, because you would get that noise. You might hear a sudden explosion on Sunday morning and wonder what is happening.
But what time is this gun salute going to take?
This is going to be somewhere between after 11. So, yeah, because once the ceremony starts, then, and it goes through the processes, then there's a point in time when the gun salute will take place. So you would hear the sound of the gun salute going, well, it's cannons actually, gun salute, but you're going to hear that going off. So we don't want the elderly and so on to be
startled.
Yes. So I know the churches and so on in that vicinity were notified. So they should have to make the necessary adjustments, because there are going to be some challenges on Sunday for persons who go to church in that area, right? So that area, no parking is allowed there, because that is set aside for that purpose.
And how many what's it called?
The gun salute.
The gun salute. How many salutes or are there going to be on that day?
Let me see if I can check. I cannot recall. I really can't see.
But for that period,
that is controlled by the military. In fact, the entire parade is under the auspices of the Trinidad and Tobago Defense Force. So they control that part. We, the police, are just another contingent on the parade. And of course, our responsibility would be security and traffic management. So that is our responsibility. And of course, we have a contingent of women on parade. So you would look forward to see our females on parade looking nice.
Of course. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Traffic restrictions starting from today, 1 p.m. in the James Park vicinity, that entire block. So if you have business to do in and around Scarborough today, try to get it done between the hours of now and 1 p.m. to ensure that you get everything you need to get done, because there there will be restrictions. There is a necessary dress rehearsal for the Memorial Day celebrations, which take place on Sunday. Again, the same traffic restrictions will be implemented as well. And there will be a gun salute, of course, in honor of those who have fallen, so that we can stand today. So it's necessary for us to do this. Yes, I know it's a little disturbance, but it is absolutely necessary. Thank you so much for being on the program this morning and for sharing. Don't forget to get your puppies. Don't forget to get your puppies and to wear them in honor of those who went ahead of us. Thank you so much for being here on the program this morning and for sharing, of course, breaking down exactly where the restrictions are going to be so that our publics are aware as to what is happening and they wouldn't be startled when they head into Scarborough. Thank you so much, viewers, for staying with us on the Morning Show on Tobago Updates Television as we bring you information about things happening in and around Tobago. I am Adanna Combie, and we're going to go for a short break and we return with sports. But before we go, of course, we invite you to share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be